Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros at your service. Today I will be reading the March 7th Facebook post and making a few comments on it, and I trust that it will assist both of us on our journeys. Here we go. The unconscious call for help and healing. Today, the targets of our frustration, anger, disappointment, and regret become the ones who forever set us free. They, who we once blamed, cursed, and talked behind their backs, and ridiculed, are now, through forgiveness, gifting us the opportunity to find peace of mind and joy in an area of our life that unconsciously has been calling out for help and healing. Today, those sentenced to a life without us are visitors to the prison within our own minds that we ourselves, through our past programming, have built. We have done everything the ego has told us to do, acted and reacted in a manner it swore to us was the right way. And yet here we sit, behind these self-imposed prison walls, protecting our pride and arrogance, our sense of superiority and righteousness. Today we stop acting. We stop playing the ego's part and consciously end our support and defense for thoughts and emotions that have never supported us. What is the unconscious call for help and healing? Let's imagine God, and that God is love, the energy of love itself. And let's imagine God being all, and therefore love is all. Then let us imagine us being the extension of this God, this love. And therefore everything that is real within us is love. And therefore anytime we are aligned with this memory, with the truth within us, we are expressing this love in many ways, such as peace, joy, compassion, kindness, forgiveness. And anytime we are not expressing this love, anytime we are or feel not aligned with this love, we are experiencing what in the world of duality would be called frustration, anger, resentment, hatred, jealousy. But in truth, all those, because there is no opposition to love, is simply a call for love, a call for help and healing. And so these energies, which the ego would have us judge ourselves and others for, are simply that, an unconscious call for help and healing. For there are areas within our own minds where we still perceive the ego's thought system as more real than God, than love. And so there are these darkened areas within our minds that we, through our lifetime, have supported, consciously or unconsciously. We have simply bought into what our family, friends, peers, society taught us to be true. Some of it was loving and some of it was not so loving. And that is just fine. There's no need to judge ourselves for that, because we're simply here to help remember who we truly are, and through our example light the way for others who are also trying to remember who in truth they are. And so whenever today we are in the energies of the ego, when we're using anger, judgment, frustration, resentment, revenge, hatred, let us not judge ourselves for that is what the ego would have us do. Let us instead remember that this is an unconscious call for help and healing. And because we remember this now that we remember that we are only love, and therefore our expressions can only be love or a call for love, then all these illusions, which the ego has 100 names for, are simply a call for love, are simply a call for healing, a call for remembering who in truth we are. And because we are all one, a call for remembering who in truth our brothers and sisters are. And so whenever today we believe that our brothers and sisters made us react a certain way, what they're doing is simply showing us what areas of our minds we still support the ego's illusions more than God's truth, more than our truth. And by seeing it out there, manifested in the physical world, we could see what separates us from this love. And all that separates us from this love is expressed through a call for love. Again, the ego would call it 100 different names, like anger, judgment, resentment, jealousy, sadness, depression. It's got 100 names for it. And if the ego can't make us judge ourselves for that, then it has us judge our brothers and sisters for that. And it makes us feel unworthy because we feel we're not spiritual enough, or loving enough, or not spiritual, or not wise enough to see the truth in our brothers and sisters. Because when we judge them, when we condemn them, when we experience resentment and anger towards them, somewhere within our minds we are unconsciously separating ourselves from our source, from God. But this is simply an illusion that we have been taught to believe as real. Every moment is helping us in one way or another align with God, with Source, with our true essence. And every moment, no matter how the ego manifests it or defines it as, our brothers and sisters are also helping us remember who in truth we are. And so when we remember that they are helping us remember who in truth we are, we start, instead of judging them for that, we start offering them gratitude for helping us see what darkened areas within our minds we still have to work on. What they help us shine a light into those dark areas of our minds. And those dark areas of our minds are simply areas where we have forgotten who we are. And so they're simply shining a light into those areas and helping us remember that what the ego says we are not. And that we are simply love. Expressing ourselves in the best way we currently know how, or we currently remember how. And every moment it's helping us see what we are expressing that is love, and what we are expressing that is not love, that is not us. And so when we start to thank our brothers, we start to receive more and more peace. Because when we have less and less judgment, basically we have more and more peace. And when we have more and more peace, we have more and more joy and more gratitude. Because we now understand that there's nothing wrong with our unconscious calls for help and healing. That this is just part of our sacred journey. And that each individual's journey is to be respected, is to be honored. For they and us, we have co-created this journey with God, with Source. And so as we remember, and as our brothers help us remember who in truth we are, our light shines brighter and brighter. And when our light shines brighter and brighter, they start to see that who we are and who we are expressing is truly their true expression. And they will be naturally drawn to us because they simply want what they think we have that they don't have. But in truth, what we have is what they've always had. And they've simply covered over it with the ego's illusions. And so in this world, sometimes we might feel like we're stuck, like we're being still too judgmental, resentful, or jealous, or hateful, or sad, or depressed, or what have you. But let us not look at this world and our journey as 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. For that is what the ego will have us think. that we can somehow be not perfect. That we can somehow, because if we're not perfect, then we're not, obviously not part of God, because God's source is perfect. So when we're not aligned with God, we unconsciously, as it may be, we judge ourselves for that and judge others for that. Because we don't remember that what is really happening is simply an expression of love. It's either the expression of love or the call for love. And that's all that it can be. Because only love is real, because love is all. And judgment, resentment, anger, fear, those are opposites to love, which in truth there cannot be an opposite to love. But in the world of duality, we can buy into it, we can place our time, focus, and energy on it, and we increase that possibility, that idea. We strengthen the idea by focusing on it. By focusing our time, energy on it, we strengthen the illusion, make it more real. But when we start to simply offer gratitude to our brothers and sisters, and remember that we're simply expressing love in the best way we know how at the current moment, and that we're all helping each other remember who in truth we are, we stop having this need to judge others, to be resentful and jealous and hateful and fearful. And the more gratitude we have, the less need for judgment we have. And so it was because of their help that we did not necessarily take 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. Instead, think of it as a ladder. Every step on the ladder is helping you get to your destination. For example, let's say anger. Let's say you spend an hour in anger the first time you dealt with anger. And then the second time you spend, or the second step on the ladder, you spend 59 minutes. And then the third step you spend 57 minutes in the state of anger. And so the ego would have you judge the first and second step as you not being spiritual or wise enough. But in truth, it's because of the first and second step that you now are on your third step, that you now are spending less time in judgment and more time seeing that this quote-unquote judgment is simply a call for help and healing, as unconscious as that may be. And so those 2 first steps helped you come to this third step. And so gratitude should be offered for the 2 first steps, not judgment. Because in truth, there's no such thing as judgment. That's an illusion of the ego. Only love is real. And therefore, an extension of love is gratitude. So we should be grateful for those first 2 steps that got us to the third step. And so if we're spending 57 minutes now in judgment, now we're obviously spending more time in peace. More time than the first 2 steps. And so gratitude should be offered to those situations, to those individuals who helped us get to this third step, and so on and so forth. So every step on the ladder is useful on our journey to remembering who in truth we are, to align with our true essence, the love that indeed we all are. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you'd be so kind as to like, comment, or share this video, it would help with the listening process, and it might help somebody find this video someday who can use the information. If you'd like to leave me a question or a comment, I would like to offer a response, if you like. And if you can please subscribe to my YouTube videos, YouTube channel, Google+, Twitter, Facebook. I would love to have you in those communities. Again, thank you for your time. I love you very much, and God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.